soul knows its worth. you done? Murdered for me on that cross, accused in absence of wrong, my sin washed away in your blood. Too much to make sense of it all. I know that your love breaks my fall. The scandal of grace, you died in my place, so my soul will live.
Good morning, Olive Grove Church. I am so glad you guys could join us here this morning. Thank you. That was lovely. Sorry about that. We are still working out some kinks in the system this morning. We appreciate you bearing with us. So glad that you could be here this morning. It is so good to see people in person, face to face here. There's not many of us, but we are an army. And we are so grateful for the chance to be together. And thank you to all of you who are joining us online. I know there are many of you there that are with us in spirit, and we are so grateful that you could be here this morning. I hope that this Sunday morning is a blessing to you, that it encourages your heart with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Let's go over a couple of announcements before we get started this morning. The first one I want to tell you about is our Church Center app. If you have not already gotten the Church Center app on your smartphone, please let me encourage you to do that. The Church Center app is a really great way for you to engage with Olive Grove Church on the go. You can get connected with a small group there. You can give online. It is a really important thing that we do, that we give to the kingdom of God via Olive Grove Church. And so that's a great way for you to do that. In fact, if you haven't done it already, let me encourage you right now, wherever you're sitting, wherever you are, give online right now with the Church Center app. And that's how we're going to give our offerings to the Lord this morning. You can do that even right now while I'm talking. And in fact, there's another really great way to do that if you're not savvy with the apps, but you do text messages. You can send a dollar amount to the number 84321. Seriously, you could send that text message, send a dollar amount to 84321, and then you can give by text message. There's a quick setup the first time you do it, and then after that, all you got to do is just send that text message one time. It's very, very simple and easy to use. So let me encourage you to really, like I say, to really participate in the worship of giving. It is a blessing that God gives us to be a part of His kingdom and to contribute to what He is doing on this earth. And so let me encourage you to do that. If you need prayer this morning, we are here for you to pray. Let me encourage you, you can send an email to ogcprayer@aol.com, and our prayer team will be praying for you this week. Those of you that are in the room, you can utilize the prayer wall, or you can come, you can talk to me after the service, and I would love to pray for you this week. If you are joining us online, we have pastors available after the service for prayer on Zoom. And so there's a link in the chat. If you go to the chat on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to find that there is a link there. You can click on that link after the service is over. And there are going to be some pastors there who would love to pray with you and just to share some fellowship time with you after the service today. So take part in that. Lastly, graduates. If you're graduating from high school, we would love to celebrate that with you. And then next week, I would love to pray for our graduates. And so if you would send me a picture or a bio, tell me where you're going to school, what you're going to do after high school, that kind of a thing. And send me a picture, and we'll pray for you specifically during this service next week. You can send a short bio and a picture to Pastor Steve at olivegrovechurch.org, or you can just call up the office, and we'll get you connected this week. We are here to worship God this morning and to encourage each other with the good news of Jesus Christ and what He has done for us. So this good news has changed our lives, and this worship service is designed to remind us of that. And so let's stand together, and I'm going to pray. And then let's sing songs that encourage each other with the good news of Jesus and praise His name. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for what You have done for us in the person and work of Jesus Christ. Holy Spirit, we thank you for calling us out of darkness and into your marvelous light. We ask now that you would use this worship service to instill in us the values of the kingdom of God, so that by your grace we would learn to treasure that which you treasure. May our songs, our prayers, may our minds and our hearts be pleasing to you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Let's sing together.
I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. And I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. Oh, the old man knew Jesus when I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy. The chains break out the weight of her glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open. 'Cause when you call my name, I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. Still I'm caught in your grace everlasting. Your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. In my heart and my soul, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace, to love you from the inside out. Your will above all else, my purpose remains. The art of losing myself in bringing you praise everlasting. Your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. In my heart and my soul, Lord, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace, to love you from the inside out. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. And the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out, Lord. My soul cries out. My heart and my soul, Lord, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace, to love you from the inside out. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. And the cry galaxies, reaching far beyond the Milky Way. Let's join in with the sound. Come on, let's sing it out as the music of the universe plays. We're singing, you are holy, great and mighty. The moon and the stars declare who you are. And I'm so unworthy, but still you love me. Forever my heart will sing of you. All glory, honor, power is yours. Amen. All glory, honor, power is yours. Amen. All glory, honor, power is yours. Forever. Amen. We're singing, you are holy, great and mighty. The moon and the stars declare who you are. And I'm so unworthy, but still you love me. Forever my heart will sing of you. We're singing, you are holy, great and mighty. The moon and the stars declare who you are. I'm so unworthy, but still you love me. Forever my heart will sing of how great you are.
Dear Heavenly Father, we turn our eyes to you and give you praise. We need you, God. The world needs you. And our prayer is that together we may turn from darkness into light and see that you love us. Whether we are enduring unpredictable storms in life like today or enjoying the stillness after the rain has passed, your peace, God, is constant and your love is never failing. Help us to trust in your goodness and to look to you. You are our strength, our refuge, our sustainer, and our deliverer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
That in order to merit access into the kingdom of God, our righteousness must exceed those who really try hard and do pretty well. We must fulfill the law perfectly. We fall short of that standard, all of us. And Jesus used the example of murder, the sixth commandment. And we saw that to dehumanize a person, to treat them as less than fully human, is to murder them in your heart. And so while not everybody has taken a life, we're still guilty of breaking the sixth commandment when we fail to treat persons, human persons, in fully human ways. And today we're going to see a similar principle played out in the seventh commandment, you shall not commit adultery. We're going to see that in order to obey the seventh commandment, it's not enough just to not have sex outside of marriage. Rather, Jesus is going to teach us that in order to obey the seventh commandment, we must abstain from sexual immorality and live purely and faithfully, whether in marriage or in single life, avoiding all impure actions, looks, words, thoughts, or desires, and whatever might lead to them. Now, adultery is one of those subjects that it can be very easy for a person to say, I'm so glad that's not a problem for me. It's very easy for a single person to say, well, I'm not married, so I don't have to worry about adultery yet. And it's very easy for a married person to say, well, I love my spouse, so I don't have to worry about adultery. But Jesus doesn't let us off the hook so easily. There is a broader principle of fidelity undergirding the subject of adultery that runs deeper than the act of adultery itself. And so this teaching on adultery is every bit as weighty for the single person, the married person, young, old, all of us. It gets right to the heart of everyone. Now, I think that most people would agree that we live in a hypersexualized culture. Sexuality is used as fodder for so many industries: entertainment, advertising, sports, and so on. And one of the reasons that's the case is because of how our culture views sexuality. One of the most prevailing views of sexuality in our culture today is that it is a kind of appetite. And so, like any other appetite, it's assumed that it can and should be satiated. And that's certainly not the only view of sexuality around today, but it's a very common one in an increasingly secular culture. And as a general rule, I think people think of it as normative to make decisions based on their own self-interest in this area. Whether married or single, young or old, our culture tends to think that it's normal to approach sexuality with a casual self-interest. Well, in our culture, Jesus is teaching about living purely and faithfully, and that becomes a formidable contrast for us. So Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 32. Let's read it together. You've heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So Jesus is saying that those who lust in their hearts are just as guilty as those who commit adultery. And the problem of lust has a degenerating effect on our relationships. It is so serious that we need to take extreme measures to fight against it. Now, why should we adopt this system of values that Jesus is putting forward here? Isn't this just a sort of passé traditionalism? Haven't we grown out of this kind of puritanical thinking? Well, I think we're going to see that the system of values presented here, the value system of the kingdom of God, is rooted in something much deeper than religious traditionalism. This passage presents a picture of how God interacts with us in a covenant. In a covenant. And we're going to see that our conduct in these human relationships is a reflection of our relationship with God. So Jesus isn't just presenting a sort of behavioral boundary that says, don't cross this line or else you'll be in trouble. He's presenting a value system that will help us live in concert with our created design, and so bring us true joy and fulfillment. By presenting this picture of human relationships that is aligned with the values of the kingdom of God, Jesus is presenting a love relationship that cultivates commitment and security and deep intimacy, superior pleasure, mutual affection, and lasting fulfillment that is incomparably better than anything offered by a counterfeit. Jesus' sexual ethic is not some dispassionate traditionalism. Jesus is pointing us down the path of true joy. So let's examine this passage under three headings: the root of adultery, the nature of adultery, and the faithful husband. First, the root of adultery. Jesus is teaching that adultery is rooted in lust. Let's take a look at verse 28. He says, anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Adultery on the outside is just an expression of lust on the inside, just like murder on the outside is an expression of anger on the inside. And so when you lust, you've already broken the seventh commandment in your heart. Now, what is lust? Lust is the desire for that which God has not given. The desire for that which God has not given. Do you remember back in when Jesus was in the wilderness being tempted by Satan? He was tempted with pleasure, power, and protection. Well, lust works the same way. Lust is the desire for pleasure, power, protection that is not given to us by God. Did Jesus have those things? Did he have pleasure, power, and protection? Yes, he did. But he waited for God to give him those things in God's timing and in God's way. And he didn't go against God's will in order to procure them for himself in his own timing. Lust says, I want pleasure now. So I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get it outside of what God has provided for me. And Jesus says here in verse 29, if your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it from you. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. In other words, be extreme on this point. There is wisdom in choosing to lose something rather than losing everything. In other words, the value of what you have left behind in taking extreme measures in the battle against sin is insignificant compared to what you gain in purity. We must take sin seriously and deal drastically with it. We must not pamper it, flirt with it, enjoy a nibbling of it around the edges a little. We are to hate it, to crush it, to dig it out. Colossians 3, 5 through 6 says, put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. So let's ask ourselves this question. What's it going to take for you to pursue purity? What extreme measures need to be taken in order for you to live purely and faithfully? And in what ways have we pursued pleasure, power, and protection outside of the bounds of that for which God has provided for us? When the standard is perfection, and when the problem is in our thought life, which one of us is not guilty of lust, of adultery? Honesty before God in these matters is the only thing that will bring us the poverty of spirit that is necessary for us to find true healing and restoration. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the pure in heart. And so the root of adultery is lust. Pursuing that which God has not given. Let's look at the nature of adultery. The nature of adultery. Now, the nature of adultery is idolatry. It's idolatry. Jesus extrapolates this teaching about adultery to the subject of divorce. And it's instructive for us that he uses the phrase victim of adultery. Victim of adultery. To throw away your spouse makes them the victim of adultery. Whose adultery? The one who is doing the divorcing against the victim. Divorce is not a victimless crime. Now, at first glance, that may seem like an obvious statement. Everyone knows that divorce hurts families, but I think not many people realize the far-reaching effects that divorce will have. Divorce doesn't just affect families, it affects churches, communities, and the culture at large. You see, in order to understand this teaching about divorce, I think we need to have an accurate picture of what marriage is. And throughout the Old Testament, when Israel was practicing idolatry, God consistently accuses them of adultery. You read through the Old Testament, you'll regularly find God's people going after idols for the sake of pleasure, power, and protection. And God calls it adultery. This week in your own Bible study time, let me encourage you to read through the book of Hosea. If you don't know the story, Hosea was a prophet in the Old Testament, and God chose to use his life as an illustration of Israel's failure to be faithful to God. And so he told Hosea to go and marry Gomer, a prostitute. Hosea was a good husband, but Gomer was unfaithful to the marriage, and God said, Israel is just like that. God was a good husband to Israel, but Israel committed adultery by worshiping idols. Let me read to you Hosea 2:13 through 16. God is talking about Israel and their idolatry, and he's talking about it in the way of adultery. He says, I will punish her for the feast days of the Baals, idols, when she burnt offerings to them and adorned herself with her ring and jewelry and went after her lovers and forgot me, declares the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her, and there I will give her her vineyards and make the valley of Achor a door of hope. And there she shall answer us as in the days of her youth, as at the time when she came out of the land of Egypt. And in that day, declares the Lord, you will call me my husband, and no longer will you call me my Baal. There were many reasons that Israel chose to worship idols, but most of it amounted to political expediency. Adopting the religious practices of pagan cultures around them was politically beneficial. It helped them get along. It fostered trade. It encouraged treaties for military support in case of foreign invasion. Israel believed that making concessions for a little idolatry would give them pleasure, power, and protection. You see, the primary problem of adultery is that it is idolatry. It is a failure to love God with our whole heart, soul, mind, and strength, and it is a failure to treat other people in fully human ways. We're worshiping something other than God. We're looking for pleasure, power, and protection in some other source than God. Let's look at Jeremiah. Jeremiah 33, verse 31 and following. It says, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and with the people of Judah. It will not be like the covenant I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand to lead them out of Egypt, because they broke my covenant, though I was a husband to them, declares the Lord. So God is accusing his people of breaking his covenant with them. And he says, I was a husband to you, and you broke your covenant with me. Now, if we look at the New Testament, we'll see that God uses the same terminology with the church. Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5, 21 through 32 says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by washing of the water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is profound, and I'm saying that it refers to Christ and the church. See, according to the New Testament, marriage is a picture of the relationship between Christ and the church. And so when marriages within the church are healthy and successful, they demonstrate to the world what the relationship is between Christ and the church, what that's supposed to look like. It's to be an illustration of the gospel to the world. And when a believer is guilty of sexual immorality and victimizing divorce, they damage the witness of the church. The church is supposed to be a pillar of the truth, and strong marriages are a part of that public witness. Let your light shine, from a few passages ago, means to live righteous lives so that other people will see your good works and glorify God. But it's more than that. You see, a culture who divorces easily has lost what a covenant relationship means. It devalues the covenant of marriage, but it also degrades our understanding of what a relationship with God looks like. Throughout history, God is related to his people through covenants. Now, covenant, that is sort of an archaic word, isn't it? What does that mean? It's a very important concept that I think we dare not lose it. And I love the way Tim Keller talks about covenants. He describes it better than I did, so I'm just going to quote him. He says, a covenant is a stunning blend of both law and love. It is a relationship much more intimate and loving than a mere legal contract could create, yet one more enduring and binding than a personal affection alone could make. It is a bond of love made more intimate and solid because it is legal. It is the very opposite of a consumer-vendor relationship, in which the connection is maintained only if it serves both parties' self-interest. A covenant is the solemn, permanent, whole self-giving of two parties to each other. And that's the way God relates to us. A solemn, permanent, whole self-giving of two parties to each other. It's not merely binding and accountable like a legal contract. It's intimate and loving like a relationship. And marriage is a covenant that is designed to point us to what our relationship with God is supposed to be like. And that's why divorce is such an affront to God. It's an idolatrous endeavor, an attempt to replace God. Look, why do people commit adultery? Why do people get addicted to pornography? Why do people lust after pleasure and power and protection? Why do people go through divorce? Sometimes multiple divorces. It's not out of the blue. Almost nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, you know what, I think I'm gonna cheat on my husband today. People don't think, I'd like my kids' lives to be permanently burdened by their parents' divorce, so I think I'm going to abandon my wife and kids today. They don't think that. So why do people do these things? Deep in their heart, adultery, porn addiction, lust, divorce, they're all rooted in the same thing. It's idolatry. We're looking for something or someone else to provide the kind of pleasure and power and protection that can only come from Christ himself. It is a failure to trust that God will provide. And you don't have to live in open adultery in order to be guilty of this. Just like murder and anger, the problem is in the heart. The problem of adultery and divorce is that we fail to trust God to fill our deepest needs. And so the solution is we need to fix our eyes on Jesus, the faithful husband. After a few counseling situations in which adultery comes up, you start to notice trends. Why does a married person get involved in lust and adultery? It's because they have this deeply seated desire for fulfillment, for contentment, for closure, for permanence. And they expected their spouse to give it to them. They thought that Mr. or Mrs. Right was finally going to make them feel complete and satisfy the desires of their heart. But their spouse was never designed to do that. They could never live up to that. And if you put that pressure on them, you will destroy them and your marriage. And by the way, Mr. or Mrs. Right was hoping that you would be what finally fulfills them as well. And they're going to put that same pressure on you, and you weren't designed to fulfill that either. And so you're both looking to be rescued. You're both looking for that one person who will give themselves completely and unreservedly to you. That one person who will finally be enough. But because that person brings their own problems, their own baggage, their own selfishness, they're not going to be enough. They're not going to be able to satisfy the deepest longings of your heart. There is an infinite need in your soul for love and for affection. And so the only way that you are going to be deeply fulfilled is if someone of infinite worth gives themselves up completely for you. Augustine said that our hearts are restless until we find our rest in God. And he's right. The desires of our heart can only be fulfilled by Christ, the true and better husband, the perfect person who gives himself unreservedly for you so that you can have life and love and joy in abundance. Listen, you will never be finally satisfied in any relationship until Jesus Christ is the spouse of your soul. But when you find your fulfillment in Christ, there is a deeply rooted joy available to you that cannot be surpassed by marriage or singleness or sexuality or friendships or community or any other relationship. None of those things, as good as they are, can compare to what we have been given by Christ. And let's remember that this whole thing is about fulfilling the law. This whole discourse that Jesus is giving us here is about fulfilling the law, and we can't fulfill the law because we dehumanize persons in our hearts. We can't fulfill the law because we lust after what God has given to us. And so Jesus fulfills the law in our place. Jesus is the faithful spouse in our place who, though he was tempted in every way that we are, he lived without sin. He remained pure in heart. And because he did that, he is the perfect lover of our souls that our spouses never could be. But there's more. There's more. Because he remained faithful to us. Because he remained faithful to us, we can look to him for fulfillment and for contentment and to be completely satisfied in him. And that will give us the resources to love others unconditionally. That will give us the resources to remain faithful to our spouse. Because we are no longer looking to our spouse to give us what Jesus has already provided. Satisfaction and closure and love and intimacy and pleasure and protection and security. And that's why Paul says in Ephesians, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. There is a self-sacrificial love that is required in order to make marriage successful. And that self-sacrifice is demonstrated perfectly by Christ, who gave himself up for us. He didn't love us because we were faithful to him. He loved us so that we could be faithful. He didn't love us because we were lovely. He loved us when we were idolaters and adulterers. And he loved us, and he redeems us, and he makes us lovely. Isaiah 54:5. For your Maker is your husband. The Lord of hosts is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. The God of the whole earth he is called. When you see Christ as your true husband, you will stop pressuring your spouse to fulfill you. When you see Christ as your Redeemer, you will no longer look to Mr. or Mrs. Right to redeem you. Look to Christ, who fulfills the law on your behalf, who redeems your life, who brings you the validation and the closure and the pleasure and power and the protection that your soul longs for. If you want to have a good marriage, or if you want to understand more about what it means to see Christ as the spouse of your soul, I would encourage you, first and foremost, to look at what the Bible says about marriage. God created marriage. He knows how it works. And he wants you to live in deep joy and fulfillment. And so look to what God says in the Bible about marriage. And as you walk in those biblical principles, your relationship will begin to flourish. But I would also encourage you to check out a book. There's a book by Tim and Kathy Keller called The Meaning of Marriage. It's a wonderful book. I've stolen some of his content for this sermon. It's a fantastic book, and it has been a huge encouragement for Hannah and I. We found this book to be remarkably helpful in our marriage, and I would definitely recommend it. Let me read you a quote. He says, one reason we can burn with seemingly uncontrollable sexual passion is because at the moment our hearts believe the lie that if we have a great romantic sexual experience, we will finally feel deeply fulfilled. To resist temptation, we have to speak the truth to our hearts. We must remind them that sex simply cannot fulfill the cosmic need for closure that our souls seek in romance. Only meeting Christ face to face will fill the emptiness in our hearts that sin created when we lost our unbroken fellowship with him. But we are not simply called to wait for an experience of Christ's full love in the future. The Bible tells us that we can have not just intellectual belief in his love, but actual experience of it now. And that's my prayer for you. That you would experience true joy and deep fulfillment and contentment in Christ now. And that will allow us to win the battle against adultery in our hearts. I'll close with this. Ephesians 3:16 through 19. I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the Lord's holy people to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ. And to know that this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this truth from your word. We pray that you would give us a fresh perspective on what it means that we are infinitely loved by you. Fill the void in our souls with your affection. And teach us to overflow with that self-sacrificial love to others. For your glory, for our good, and for the cause of the gospel of Jesus Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen. After this service is over, if you need prayer, pastors are available to you. If you're joining us online, pastors are available on Zoom. You can click the link and join them online. If you need prayer, I'd be happy to pray with you here today. Let me invite you, if you need prayer after the service today, stay in your seat. I'll come talk to you and pray with you. And the rest of us are going to go outside for fellowship. But I would love the opportunity to pray with you and to encourage you. This morning, the band is going to lead us in a benediction. And after that, we will be dismissed. So let me invite you to stand and sing together.
The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May His favor be upon